Hi, I'm Sherry and welcome to my channel, Sherry Jones Designs. This is a channel where we do DIY projects and we upcycle clothing. So today, in today's video, we are going to be upcycling and making a braided collar beach dress. It can also be used as a nightgown and it's not hard to do. I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is some stretchy knit. This can be old t-shirts, fabric, whatever you happen to have. I'm using t-shirt scraps and stuff like that. And then the next thing you're going to need is some fabric. That can be a sheet, a vintage sheet is really cute. It can be something, just pieces you've sewn together. You'll need a fair bit of width depending on your size if you're making it for yourself. And depending on the length you want it. If you want to make this something like a maxi dress that goes all the way to the floor, you would of course need more fabric, and depends on your height. I'm very short, so I don't need as much fabric. But you're going to want something that's at least twice the width that you are. So, you know, however wide you need it to be, just make the piece of your fabric twice as wide as you are. And then measure the length of the fabric you'll need is going to be measured from about here, right here, down to however long you want it to fall, plus a little bit of a hem if you want to put a hem on it. And that's how long your fabric will need to be. So once you get that piece of fabric made, or found, or bought, however you're going to look at that, we will go on to the next step of putting it all together. This is the piece of fabric that I'm going to be using today as my inspiration and also incorporated into my dress that I'm going to be making. I want mine to have more than just one color, but you could just use one color. You could use a sheet. You could go to a garage sale. You could go to Walmart, buy it new. Find a beautiful sheet, and you could use this as your piece and already be through this process. But I want to do mine in the colors that I have here. So I'm going to be looking for some greens, blues, yellows, anything that pinks, anything that goes with this. And I'm going to be doing fairly large chunks. I'm not going to do a small intricate patchwork. I'm going to do one that's got some fairly good chunks. Here are some of the fabrics that I'm going to be incorporating most likely into mine in big squares. Is some pinks. I've got some blues, and I may even throw in this happy little snail fabric here. Anything else in my studio that goes with it, and I'm going to show you what we will be, to give you an overall view of what it looks like. So you understand what we're doing here. You're basically going to create a 46-inch, depending on how wide that you needed yours to be. You're going to need some room here at the waist, so make sure you've got about 2 times at the waist. For mine, I'm going to have it 46 inches wide at the bottom. It's going to slope up here to about 20 inches wide. This is going to be my collar. My sleeves are going to set down in here like this. This will be left open. And then the braided collar will set in like this. And this part here is gathered to it. Basically what you need is for your waist, make sure you've got at least 1.5 to 2 times here in your waist, or your garment won't fit you when it's done. So let's make our fabric piece. Basically, in finished quilting, the way I'm doing this, patchwork, all you do is you fold your edge. You can pin it if you want to, and you just place it on top of your next one and you sew down it like that. And then you just start here and you sew down it. If it makes you nervous to just do it without pinning it, then by all means pin it. What you're going to do is you're going to fold it both ways. You'll fold it once this way, and while holding it, don't worry about this part. You're going to fold it this way, and you're just going to hold this corner. Then you're going to place that corner where you want it to be. Like for me, I'm going to want it up here somewhere to make it interesting. And I'm going to start right here and sew down. Once I get the machine holding it, I'll just fold it, crease it with my fingers, and sew down. I highly recommend a flat table to do this. I think it would be quite difficult to do if your machine is not level with the table. And that's how you do it. You just keep sewing, and here I've already got a folded edge, and I just noticed that. So what I might do is take up this corner and start another one and tuck it underneath this one. Here, I want to make sure I've trimmed my strings so they don't get caught in my machine when I take off again, because they will. Your machine will just eat them. And we're going to make sure that we've tacked this down. This, I do have a little bit sticking out here. If that bothers you, you can put another patch right over the top of it out here. For me, I'm fine with that because this is all rustic boho clothing. So now I'm going to come down like that. And what that's going to do is next time I can start mine here. Now I can choose to come over if I want to have the next piece lay on top of it. And you just repeat, rinse and repeat that process. You just keep adding pieces to it. Let's say I wanted next. Let's say next I wanted the snail fabric. Now I'm going to keep in mind I've got snails on here. Which direction? I suppose it doesn't really matter. They're cute, but I can see my flowers are kind of going that way. So I'm going to put my snails going the same direction. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold. If you love raw edges, don't fold any of it. Just place it down and sew it on and let the raw edges form. Some fabrics, though, I'm working with, these are pretty thin. So I'm a little worried that with any kind of heavy washing, you would lose your seam would come undone. I'm going to trim this. So that those threads don't get caught in my machine as I sew. All right, now I'm going to turn this under, and I'll probably place it somewhere like that. And I'm going to just keep working and repeating the process. Okay, so I have made my fabric. Pieces of shirts, bedding, vintage. A lot of this is vintage. It's vintage fabric. And now, I haven't trimmed the back side yet where I've done my patchwork. We'll do that eventually. I'm going to fold my piece in half of fabric. And then we'll fold it in half again. So when I get done, I'll have a piece like that we'll be cutting the shape out of. Okay. Now the next thing you're going to do here is make sure your bottom is cut straight, and then we're going to angle it from our corner here up to where our height is going to be. So I want my height to be, I'm going to just making sure that I've got it where I want it, checking, making sure it's laying flat. If I make a mistake on anything, I can always add a piece back on. I'm going to use this because I think you can see the markings better. And a piece of chalk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my I'm going to cut the bottom off level by using this. Using this board, this cutting mat is very handy. But if I didn't have one of these, all I'd have to do is lay this across, draw me a line, and then use my scissors. I'm going to go a couple of times because I've got quite a few layers here. And we'll just finish it up with some scissors. Okay, now there's my bottom line. That's the bottom of my dress. Then I'm going to go from the side here, and I will be matching. I'll be drawing a line straight up to up here where I'm going to be bringing it in. Now where I want, let's make sure I've got this in the camera. Now on the top, I want to go in, I want to be at 20 inches. So what I'm going to do is measure in, I'm going to measure in 10. Because it's folded, that will give me my 20 inches. I'm going to go up about as high as I can. If I have to add a piece, I'll add a piece. I'll be cutting this off even up here. I'll just go ahead and do that. I might as well just go ahead and cut my... We're going to go ahead and cut our top off as well. It's not handy to have it on that side. Let's see if it'll let me do it this way. Now if you're using just a piece of fabric for this, you're going to find it pretty, I think it'd be really easy to do with just a piece of fabric that you buy and lay it out. Okay, now we're going to measure in 10 inches and make a mark. And what we're going to do is go from down here to up here, and we're going to mark it. I'm just going to kind of estimate. It doesn't quite reach. Let me see if I can get that in the as much as I can. I'm going to go from my bottom mark to my top mark. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a line to follow. Something like that. And we're just going to cut that line. Okay, now what you're going to do is the armhole on each side is going to start down about 3.5 inches. So we're going to mark our armholes. If I would forget to do this, the problem is I might sew it all the way up, and I want to hem this armhole. This is going to be part of the neckline. So I'll show you as we go along here. So you want to measure that at 3.5 inches. And you want to do it on each side, just in case it gets under the machine a different direction. I don't want to have to remeasure it. And we're going to do the same here. And I've got a little piece here I'll have to put in. I'll have to fill in, that's okay. Alrighty, now you're going to go on the front here and you're going to measure down 3.5 inches. Right here. And what you're going to do is just a gentle slope from out to your corner, like this. This is going to be the neckline, front and back, like that. And you're going to cut your neckline out. Like that. Now, because I'm short here, I'm going to go fill that in, and then we're going to turn it. And I'm also going to, while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and trim, because when you do patchwork like this on the back side, you have to clean it up a little bit. I haven't done that yet because I'll have pieces like this and strings. So I will clean it up on the other side, and then we'll be putting it right sides together. So I'm just trimming up the back side. This is what that patchwork looks like a lot of times on the back side. Because you're overlapping, it creates a lot of small pieces. And I use these pieces in more intricate patchwork, so and just in my decorative patches. Now, one of the things I think would be really cute in this is using a colorful thread. How about solid blocks for your colors in it? I think that would be so pretty. I would try to use fabrics that are all close to the same weight. These are all mostly cotton except for one, and that's this one. It's more of a poly, but it's still lightweight. It's still lightweight, so it will still flow nicely. You're going to put it right sides together, and you're going to take the 3.5 inch down mark from there, right from that point. You could put let's just put a needle in it. Let's put something in it. Let's put a pen in it. We're going to pin it right sides together all the way down, and we're going to just sew this. We're going to sew it from here all the way down, and we're going to do that on both sides, leaving this part here not sewed. And I'm going to come in a little ways, about 1/2 inch, because I'm going to be turning this over for the bottom of my sleeve. I stitched down my sides, and now I'm going to turn it right side out. Like that. And what we're going to do is, where we did the 3.5 inches here, I'm going to just turn them in like that. And you can pin them if you want to. We're going to turn them in. And we're going to pin them like this. And then I'm going to take a zigzag, but you could use a straight stitch or a zigzag, and we're just going to, so that way we've got a finished edge, we're just going to sew these down. I'm going to use a zigzag because it also gives me a little bit more reinforcement. And when I sew them, I'll sew down and then up this other side. We're going to do that on both of the armholes that we created. One thing I'm going to do that you don't have to do on yours, because I've done top stitching on all these, on this outside seam, to make it kind of blend in, I'm going to do a zigzag all the way down, just so it looks like these other seams that I have. But here's what your armhole should kind of look like. Just something like that. That's one. The other one looks a little neater. I kind of went sideways on it, which I came down, then went over, then back up. That looks a little neater, I think. Okay, so I'm going to do my side seams. I'm going to zigzag them on the top. I'm going to top stitch them with a zigzag. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in here on your neckline, and you're going to just finish the edge. For me, I'm going to serge it, but you can just zigzag it. Zigzag it all the way down. So here's what we have so far. I really like how the zigzag looks with the rest of my zigzag by doing it on the end like this, and it also allowed me to lock this in below the sleeve. So if you did top stitched it with a straight stitch, you could just do the same thing with straight stitch. I went ahead and serged this top here, but if you don't have a serger, just zigzag it like I said. And then here's what we have so far. We haven't done the hem in the bottom yet, and we have to hem the bottom. And now we're going to make the collar, and we may even put a pocket on this. I haven't decided yet. So what we're going to do next, we're going to mark the center, and then we're going to make our braided collar and put that on. And I'm also going to, I'm going to go ahead and serge the bottom of this. Now, if you don't have a serger, you can zigzag it. Just fold, if you want a finished edge, just fold this under. You can even fold it under twice, like this, and pin it, and not even do a zigzag. Just fold it under twice, like a 1/4 inch, fold a 1/4 inch again, and put a pin in it, like this. And just do that all the way around and just stitch it down for a nice hem. I'm just going to serge it and then just fold it once and sew it down. This is going to, so to find your center, you're going to just fold it together. Find your center, and we're going to put a pin or mark. You could also just mark it with chalk. That washes out. I'm going to put my centers back in. Like that. Get rid of all my extra threads. I just got threads everywhere. That's a part of sewing. And since the front and back are the same in this, I'm going to choose which one I want to see on the front, and I think it's this one. So when I start my collar, I'll show you how to do that. So there is a back side to this dress. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and finish my hem, and then we will make the collar. Okay, I've got my hem now. I've hemmed it, and I hemmed it in such a way where if I want to add a ruffle, I'll just add it under it. So I haven't decided yet on that, but this is what we have so far. Now we're going to make the collar, and we're going to gather this to the collar. So I'm going to set this aside for just a minute. Okay, so I will have a lot of this on hand, and what this is it's t-shirt yarn braided. I'm going to show you how I make it. I have a lot of t-shirts that I have that are cut off from t-shirts. So what you're going to want to do is make it pretty wide when you cut your pieces off. And we're just going to braid us up a piece of some t-shirt yarn. We're just going to braid it, and that's what we're going to be using for our collar. I'm going to be cutting my t-shirt yarn at 3 inches. At 3 inches wide. And the collar, when you cut it like this, and you stretch it out, this has got a seam here. I'm removing one of the seams. It just makes it easier. When you stretch this out, it gets much longer. Here's some green. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this one at 3 inches. You should have something like this. I stitched it down. So now I'm going to turn it so I've got a finished edge. And we're going to clip it onto something. I think I might just clip it onto my mat here with a nice sturdy clip. I'm going to make sure these are stretched out. And I'm just going to start braiding. Don't worry about what it looks like. It won't matter. I just don't want to tie a knot at the end of it. I probably wouldn't have even had to flip it. And you don't want your braid to be super tight. You want it to be a little bit loose. So don't pull too hard on your braid. And so if you don't know how to braid, it's just The right one goes over the middle, the left one goes over the middle, just like this. And you want kind of a loose braid. You don't want it super tight. Once you get used to braiding, you can go very quick. And to undo, like when they wrap down here, if you just pull one out, the rest will undo. Okay, that should be plenty long. I need to go look and see though and make sure. See how long we're going to need it. Because this is the collar that's going to be on the... So you need about 30 to 36 inches, depending on how big your dress is and how big your neckline needs to be. Because it also, you know, it does have a stretch to it. And, you know, if you see a seam like that, it's fine. You can... It won't really make any difference. All right, so now what we're going to do is... This is going to be placed, here's our center. This will be sewn on here, but this is going to be gathered. Now I need this to be gathered down to 12 inches. So that means between here and here, I need to have it gathered 6 inches. So what I'm going to do is find the center of this. That's going to be the center here, and I'm going to pin it in place as my center. I don't really want to lose my marking though. I'll pin this on, and then I'm going to measure out 6 inches on this and make sure that I've got this started there and gathered. Does that make sense? Okay, let's see if I can make that happen. Because you can't measure 6 inches here because we need all of this shoved into 6 inches here. So let's go 6 inches right here. And I'm going to measure 6 inches from the center over here. And then this here will be gathered between this. Now I can pin this to this. Maybe. I missed. And I will finger gather between this, between here and here. Like that. So we're going to sew the front one on first. This is our front. And I'm going to, your sewing machine, I hope it can go through all those layers. I haven't had any trouble yet, but we'll see. This could be a new day for this. So let's see here. Now I'm going to use a straight stitch for this at first, just to tack it down and baste it kind of in place, just in case I don't like it or I did something wrong. And I'm going to pull it to get it under my wheel, or my machine here. I'm going to give myself about 1/2 inch. I started using metal bobbins and my machine has gotten really squeaky. You just want to make sure that your pleats look right, because if you shove it one way up like that and you got one way down like that, that's not going to look right. You want them to be nice and even. I may regret using this poly fabric. It is not behaving. I want it to look like it's gonna, like it should, like to lay nice. Okay. We're just going to sew it in there. If we don't like it, like if I have too much up there, I will pull it out and redo it. What is going on here? I see this has got more than it should. I'm going to look at it, make sure we like the way it looks. If not, we will be taking it out. Okay, so you should have something like that for the front of your garment. So, okay, let's lay it out and look and make sure we get the back right. And to come over your shoulder, and I can already tell one thing I'm going to need it longer. So we're going to add some more to both ends of that, I think. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just extend these t-shirt pieces. And the way you do that is, the easiest way is to hold them together like this, and then fold them and just do a snip. Okay, making 2 holes. And then you're going to put one through the other and take the other tail, put it through the one that you shoved through, and pull it out all the way like this. And just make that knot as small as you can. You can sometimes trim off a little bit there. And that is a way to extend your colors. So I'm going to do that and finish braiding this out, and we'll attach it to the back side. All right, I had to make a few alterations. I just opened it up a few more inches. Looks like about 3.5 inches down there, down the side. And the measurements that I gave you for this is going to be somewhere around a size medium. And now what I'm going to do is I had to add more braid to the other end as well. So I've got more braid on both ends. So if you originally started and you made 6 feet of braid and then went to the middle and started at your front, you would do better off. So so now I've got my strap up over the top. Once we sewed the front on, and now I went, and that was 12 inches. You'll see that in the video. And then the strap on my mannequin over the top ended up being about 9 inches. But you're going to want to, if you have a mannequin, put it on the mannequin or put it on yourself and make sure that you've got enough length in your strap. You might have to have help because you can't really see the back side. So now I'm going to start by marking down 6 inches. That's going to be, I should be gathering this right here into another 6 inches like we did the front. So I'm going to mark my braided collar down 6 inches like this and put a pin in it like that. And that's going to match here. And then I'm going to, between here, and I don't want to lose this. I had to use a clothespin because it's so thick. My little clips do not work on it. I need bigger clips. But from here, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure in case that clip falls off. I've got a marker in here. From here on the neckline, I want to fit this 6 inches into this side, and I need to do the same on this other side. So let's see if I can pin it. So from right there, we're going to measure 6 inches. It is a little bit tricky, but it's such a soft color. It's worth the extra effort. These did sell well for me. I haven't put them in my shop for a while, and I think I'll make a few of them. And that's going to come down, and that will match this pin right here. So when I get done, and then I'll stitch these in place once I gather those. And it's basically done. Then I can decide if I'm going to put a pocket on it. So let's get it finished so I can show you what it looks like and what we have so far. Just want to make sure that I've got that right where it's supposed to start. You can be off a little bit on these and it won't ruin it. If you don't want to use a braided collar, use the collar from a t-shirt. My squeaky sewing machine. Alright, now I'm going to gather from, because I want all of this between these 6 inches. So I'm going to put this, make sure I'm matching this. And just gather underneath here a little bit as I go. The knots may be a little bit harder to go through wherever you have a knot. Just take your time, and hopefully your sewing machine can do this. I don't want to stretch that. Make sure it's going all the way through, and it is. I heard it hit it. Okay, so that's my middle. That's where I want to stop now. I'm just going to pivot like this and lock all my braids together. So that I can cut this side off now. Like that. Now we have that side. We're going to do the same thing to the other side, and when we get down here, we'll just slightly overlap or bump into it, but just slightly overlap and then zigzag it to lock it in place. We're right at our other one, and I'm just going to lock it in place by stitching across it, just like we did the other one. And then we will, because there's my other one, I'm going to do this one right beside it, and then I'll just zigzag them together. Just don't want them coming unbraided. That. I'm going to trim it just a little long the first time I trim it. Make sure I have enough there. And then we're just going to kind of lock them together. Kind of just want them to just meet. We're going to do a wide zigzag and just kind of zigzag them together. I'm going to use this just to kind of tuck it all in, make it go, just kind of layer them on top of each other. And just to join them together. Oh my gosh, my squeaky, squeaky sewing machine makes me feel like I need to oil it. Oh, I heard the needle hit. Okay. I'm going to just trim that off and that to meet. And that's really stuck there. Well, that should be good to go. I think that'll be good. Let's take a look at it and see what we got. It's quite lovely. This is very, very, very soft. On the shoulders for sleeping in it would be really comfortable. It makes a beautiful dress, beautiful beach cover up. And then by adding a belt to it, it becomes quite dressy. So it's really versatile. It's a really versatile little dress that you can make. There's the back. And then if you don't want the belt, it becomes like a nightgown or a beach dress cover up. Very, very versatile. And if you don't want to mess with a braided collar, just use a t-shirt collar or some knit that you just pull or stretch down there. But I love the braided collar. To me, the braided collar is what makes it so fun and pretty. So I've decided to add a bit of lace to the bottom of it. It just feels right. And I see this has like a join the lace. I'm going to do that, and I may be adding a pocket as well. And we'll take a look at it and see what it looks like. Corner here somewhere to start my lace. And all you do with lace, you just make sure you have the right side up. Lace is a wrong side and a right side. And if you look at it, you can see one side is more finished than the other. And also you can see by that, that's the back side of the stitch. So I'm going to go to the other side of this. Okay, so when you start, you're just going to fold your lace over so that you have a finished edge there to come back to. And make sure you don't have any strings for your machine to catch. I'm going to start here somewhere, and I'm just going to use a straight stitch and put it on. Just like this. You're just going to lay it right under the hem. For the pocket, what I do is on the serger like this. If you don't have a serger, just make it square, and you can either fold the edges under as you put the pocket on and pin it down, you know, where you want it, or you can just leave raw edges on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hem this top like this. Okay, and then I'm going to pull a little piece of elastic across it. I just use this very small, fine elastic. And I just make sure that I've got it the same distance all the way across. And I usually use a straight stitch for this. And I just guess like how much I want to see ruffled. And you're going to start it like that. And make sure you give it a good tug to take off, and then you're going to hold your thread and your elastic, and you're just going to tug it a little bit. You don't want to go way, way, way out. You're just going to want to thin that elastic a little bit. Well, guys, look how beautiful that turned out. Isn't it gorgeous? It's the finishing touches. Add some lace in the pocket, and I was not actually really caring that much for it right up until now. And it just looks so much better on her, so why she's wearing it instead of me. Isn't that cute? That's what the back looks like. And the sides. Don't forget, if you follow my instructions, to make that 7 inches instead of 3.5. But I think that just turned out really pretty. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. And I will see you all in the next video. Until then, happy sewing.